Hi guys, welcome to this comparison between two crypto or Bitcoin tax solutions. So the one is the Cryptotrader.tax, the other one is the Bear.tax. So during this video I will show you how the user interfaces worked, how support was, how the end result was, and something about price. And at the end I will make a comparison in an Excel sheet, and I will have some very important information at the very end, so please stay tuned till the very end, even if it's a little bit long. I've been looking for comparison or reviews about Bitcoin or crypto tax, and I have found these usually in the top list. And regarding price, I think they are the most competitive ones, and also regarding options and pricing and so on. So what I did when I had to do this, I made accounts on both of these and entered all the data or imported, let it run till almost the end, and then compared both and figured with which one to go. And of course I will let you know at the end for which one I have decided myself. They are really close, they are head on head, there's not too much difference. I think they are really the most advanced. Maybe there are better ones, but there are some really super professional solutions, but you will have to pay a lot more. So I think this is for a small or medium investor or trader. These are really good solutions, the Bear.tax and the Cryptotrader.tax. So when we start with the Cryptotrader.tax, they have a small package for the hobbyist, then the pro trader, high volume trader, and unlimited. So what you have to be careful about is the amount of trades. So usually you think about trades when you, let's say, you buy a cryptocurrency or you buy Bitcoin or whatsoever, you think it's one trade. Of course it is not. So usually it happens when you want to buy a certain cryptocurrency and you give a limit and you say you want to buy maybe 5,000 of these. So you get these piece by piece. So you get a little bit of maybe 500, then you get another 1,000, then you get maybe 100, then you get, and so on till the whole order is filled. It can take it will need 10 or 20 small trades, and this you have to take into account. So it could be at the end that these so-called 1,500 trades at the end will be only about 150 trades. So that's something which you have to be aware of. And here same thing, of course, they count all the small trades. Of course here they have a really good thing. I mean, they start really low, the Bear.tax. A lot of people probably think, yeah, okay, I can only pay $29 up to 200 transactions. That's at the end maybe 20 transactions, and sometimes they even count not only the tax year but even the previous year. I think at the end probably they counted only the tax year, but I was not really sure about that. When I talked to the support, they told me, yeah, no, they are taking everything into account. I did not really get a clear response from them, but at least with the Bear.tax I think I was able to count the amount of trades, and I think that were only the tax year trades. But I cannot give you a clear answer on that. You have to be really careful and think about it's not only the tax year, and it is also it can be maybe 5 or 10 transactions per buy or sell. So they are pretty similar. I mean, there are a little bit of differences, and if you have really a lot of trades, then I think you're better off with the Bear.tax, which has the offer for $199 per tax year and unlimited transactions. And the same thing with the crypto trader tax. Here is I mean, same price, but only up to 5,000 trades. For me, the strange thing is really, when I had the thing done with Bear.tax, I ended up with the same exchanges, same trade, same everything. I ended up with 2,500 trades, which brought me to the unlimited, of course, to $200. And here with the, I thought, yeah, okay, when I have 2,500, that must be same thing, 199. So I did, and like I imported everything, and at the end it told me I'm eligible for the 99. So it had less. I think it was only about 990 trades, something like that. So it looks like they are counting a little bit different. You have to be aware of that. It's really, really difficult. So this is yeah, another thing to tell you. I can tell you, I think whatever you do, no matter what solutions you are using, there won't be a 100% solution. That's the really strange thing. I mean, what I'm trying to tell you is the IRS, of course, they have their requirements. They say you have to report every small trade and so on and so on, and you have to actually also report like airdrops. You have to report other things if you got some free things, and like forks whatsoever. But some of these solutions, they just support this more or less. Usually when you import, let's say you import 2,000 transactions, at the end there will be some 20, 50, maybe 100 transactions left, which they show you at the end, like to verify, and they ask you what to do with that, because they couldn't figure out where they came from, if they were like coming from one exchange, were transferred to another exchange and then sold. They couldn't match. I mean, they are trying to match. At least this is what Bear.tax says. They are trying to match. I mean, after you get them all the data, they try to find out what you really did, what transfers you made, what sales and buys and whatsoever. And I think they are not doing a really bad job on that, but there are still some left at the end. And same thing with the crypto trader. I had at the end about not really 1%, maybe it was maybe 1% of the orders, which they really couldn't tell you. They couldn't figure out where they're coming from, what they really are, and how to tax. And then you have to handle that somehow. And I think I already can tell you it's almost impossible then to give a solution. Sometimes they have a solutions. I mean, the Bear.tax, they have a really strange solution for these orders which they cannot figure out what to do. They say, okay, you have to decide, are those all like transfers which you have made, and then only and after that you bought or sold or whatsoever. And that means that that like airdrops are counted like things which you have bought, which is not correct, of course. But you cannot divide the whole thing. If you end up with 50 of these orders, you cannot say, yeah, let's take 20 of them and say, okay, these were transfers between exchanges, and the 30 amount, the rest of them were airdrops or something like that. You cannot tell. So you at the end you end up with an IRS filing which is actually not correct. And same thing here. At the end, it's impossible to get rid of the last couple of orders which they cannot found what it is, and we have been trying for hours to correct these errors, and it was not possible. So you probably have to deal with some orders which at the end are not correct. I mean, they do their very best, but the solutions at the moment are definitely not perfect, and the real problem comes from here. So from here, of course, I will have to blurry everything, of course, because that's my personal data here. You would see everything. I don't want that everybody can see, also IRS or whatsoever. Nobody should be able to see my data, so I'm blurring that. I'm sorry for that, but I will explain you everything in detail. So here, let's say let's start with the Bear.tax. They have similar setup. They have a couple of, we start usually with the imports or upload transactions, and then you can add some, and then you calculate gains, and then you can either pay or not, and then you can print the IRS tax form. So that's the good thing. I mean, with both of them you can start for free. You enter all your data, you import, you give the API keys, and then you have all the things, and you can check and do, and even you can ask the support. Support is really good from both of them. Support will help you through the whole thing with both of these crypto tax solutions for free before you even start paying. That's a really good thing. So no difference with both. So, but the difference comes here when you upload or import your transactions. With Bear.tax, you have just 5 exchanges which support API keys: Coinbase, Binance, Bittrex, and Poloniex, and there's another one which they don't show. I think that was Coinbase Pro, and then other ones. But with the other ones, I think, yeah, it's not supported. Yeah, they just say you have to call the support. So there are not many, and only for these ones, as far as I have been able to see, only for the ones with API support, they will not only import the buys and sells, but also deposits and withdrawals. For everything which you have to upload with files means CSV, you have to go to your exchange and then try to find the history, and then download your trading history on CSV, and sometimes that can be a huge problem. I mean, with problems with exchanges like Huobi, I think they have lost their trading history, and I haven't been able to get it. I mean, the trading history I have been able to get, but not the deposit and withdrawal history, not even with the support. And if you try to do it on your own, there's no way you can do that. So that's a real problem. Also for the ones which really work, you can only upload the trading history and not the withdrawal and the deposit history. It's a similar thing with the Cryptotrader.tax. It looks a little bit nicer. You can click on the ones you need. You can click here, and then you go to step 2, and now you can start to import, and all the exchanges which you have selected here will be listed like in different tabs, and you can enter the API keys or the upload with a sheet. But actually you don't have a choice. Either it's API key or it's upload through CSV, and it's just the decision of these crypto trader solutions. They decide if they support API key or not. I mean, you cannot choose. So that's a little bit of a problem. And a hint, like a tip from my side, if you create an API key for the exchange, there are a few things to make sure. I mean, when you create it, then only create it with reading access, no trading history, no trading access, no withdrawal access, nothing like that. You have to be really careful. Just make sure they have just reading access, and make sure you copy the API keys and especially the API secret to like a document where you have access to it, because after you create API key set, especially the secret won't be shown anymore. So if you are trying such crypto tax solutions with different websites, you would have to create new API keys. So it's better you store them on a document, and if you if you decide to use another CryptoTrader crypto tax solution, you can just copy and paste the existing API keys from this document. You don't have to go to your exchange again and make a new key. That can save a lot of time. And after that, after you have done the crypto tax, make sure you go to your exchange and delete this. That's really important. Delete the API keys which you don't use anymore, because these keys are stored on their these databases here. You don't know if they are encrypted, and if they have data breach, some thieves could steal these and they would have access to your exchanges. And we have seen in the past that sometimes the authorizations were not right. I mean, even if you specify just reading, sometimes the API keys have also trading or withdrawal authorization. You have to be really careful about that. So here you go through everything like Cryptotrader.tax, you click on all the exchanges here, and then you will see either you have to upload a file or you have to specify the keys. If you have to upload the file, there is here an import guide, which is really nicely described, even with screenshots on the Cryptotrader.tax. I really like that. This is really nice, but this is similar on the Bear.tax, but the Bear.tax just supports a little bit less of the exchanges with API key. So here you have to drop the CSV file, but there is not much instruction. That's a little bit bad. If you need some instructions, you have to go usually, I mean, if you need instructions how to create CSV files, so usually you have to go to the two other websites to find out how to do. Sometimes they tell you what to do, but there's not much instruction. So with the Cryptotrader.tax, there's much more instructions, much more support for the API key. So a little bit of advantage for the Cryptotrader.tax. What's also a difference, sometimes here with the Bear.tax, it took very long to import. Like for Bittrex, it took with the API keys, it took me 4 hours. It was running like 4 hours. I mean, the good thing is it is like asynchronous, so it is running in the background. You can start it and you can go continue with the next exchange, next exchange, next exchange, and so on. So these are running in the background. That's a good implementation. This is different to the Cryptotrader.tax, where you don't have things running in the background, but the advantage is here it runs much faster usually, so there's no need actually to run something in the background. So with the amount of exchanges in total supported, there's a plus on Bear.tax. As you can see, there are a lot, but most of them are just supported by CSV, but they have specific like interfaces, or interfaces to import the specific format of these exchanges, because every exchange has a different CSV format, and these are prepared for almost all the exchanges. It's really nice on the Bear.tax. So even when they support less API, they have better support for the CSV. Here it's exactly different. They have more support with API, but not so many, but really a few really important ones. And the problem is, if you have an exchange which is not supported here, you end up with manual exchange. So that's the thing. And then manual exchange means you have to open a new like Excel file on Google like Google Docs. I mean, it's more or less automated. I mean, you can click on here, you get a template, and you make a copy, and you go to Google Documents, and they say how to do, but they have a specific format. It has to be here like timestamp, exchange name, trade type, and so on, everything. And what you get from your exchange will look totally different usually. So you have to really copy paste column by column into this thing, and then go and make save as CSV and load into the Cryptotrader.tax. I mean, at the end I had it and it was working, so no problem with that. So until here it's more or less a tie, I would say, apart from the price. But if you are in a rush, then the Cryptotrader.tax is much faster. The problem, which is not only here with the Bear.tax, that sometimes it takes hours. I mean, for the import it takes hours. For the doing the calculation of loss, calculate gain loss, sometimes it takes hours, and then to go to review it can take hours, and you have to call the support, and sometimes it takes time. And so if you are like really in a tight time frame, then CryptoTrader can be definitely a little bit faster. Also here on the Cryptotrader.tax you have a nice site here for other transactions. You can generate some incoming transactions or add incoming transactions which were not found on the Excel sheets, outgoing transactions, and theft and casualties. I mean, if you had some values on an exchange and it was hacked, so you can add this here, and I haven't found this on Bear.tax. But the thing is here, with these additional like incoming transactions or outgoing transactions, the type is really limited, and I haven't been able to really correct all the problems. I mean, when you go to review data, we'll see there are some errors, and then some of them you can correct and say, okay, this was an airdrop, this was an airdrop, and some of these problems or errors you can eliminate here. With Bear.tax it's difficult. You can either say it's all transfers or all airdrops, which is definitely correct. So you can come a little bit closer to the real truth with CryptoTrader, and especially theft and casualties is an advantage on the CryptoTrader site. So when we go to the review here on Cryptotrader.tax, yeah, we can see all the transactions, but there's not much. I mean, we cannot select, we can't do anything. There's just a large listing, and yeah, we can just see the transactions. But what we have is the warning trades. That's exactly what I was telling you about, and you can click on the warning and it will tell you, yeah, please view our warning trade guide to troubleshoot. It appears that you are attempting to sell more of token XXX or whatsoever than you own. You're trying to sell more than you are owning at the time of this trade. So you have to explain or make a different, like an additional transaction or whatsoever. So this is a little bit more sophisticated and more individual, so they are coming a little bit closer to the real truth. But the listing of all the transaction here on Bear.tax is much nicer. You can select in real time from exchange. You can enter an exchange name like Binance or whatsoever, and it would then only show you these like these all the trades on this exchange, and then you can enter in something like selection criteria in currency pair and in transaction type, and then I mean overall you can do much more and find out maybe what's missing at the end. So, and then of course you can also add manual things, but it is just buy or sell. It is not like airdrop in a specific, for a specific token or coin like with the Cryptotrader.tax. Here you can just manually add buy or sell. And so at the end, there's definitely a problem with both of the solutions. The Bear.tax is a little bit easier. You say just everything is airdrop or everything is transfer, which is not correct, but it I mean, it's a little bit faster. Then something which I already told you, that happens a lot of time when you go to Bear.tax and then you click on something you want to see gain loss or whatsoever, and sometimes it takes huge time. So you have to talk many times to the support till you get to the end result. With the Cryptotrader.tax, it's a little bit less of a pain. So that's the last step of the Cryptotrader.tax. We click on create report and then we can select the tax year which we want to create. So when we say we want to make 2018, it starts automatically with the previous years, of course, because previous years have also or can have an impact on the next tax year, and then it takes maybe 1 or 2 minutes. With Bear.tax it can take 1 or 2 hours. That's definitely a difference, but then that's again an advantage on the Bear.tax side, because on the Cryptotrader.tax you won't see your result. You won't see any final number on gains or losses till you pay, but you can ask the support, which I did. They even write it somewhere. I haven't seen that here. They even write it, I think, probably on this side. If you want to see the total amount, I mean the end, then you total gain loss, I mean the thing which you will add at the end to the IRS document form. I mean, you want to see that, and you can ask the support and they will tell you the number, and that's important. I mean, you probably have some kind of rough number in your mind and you want to double check. I mean, when you say, yeah, you think maybe you have made a profit of 1,000 and at the end one of these solutions tells you you have made a loss of 10,000, that's probably a huge problem, and you should try to find problems, maybe correct them, talk to the support, try to figure out what could have been wrong or so. So it is a little bit more difficult definitely with the Cryptotrader. With the Bear.tax you will automatically get to this site here where they tell you which profits per token and the total or profits or loss you have made, and so you can then double check and decide if you want to use this solution. And I can tell you the end result of the gain loss was pretty close. They were pretty similar between Bear.tax and Cryptotrader.tax. I think the difference was only due to the selection what I told. I mean, when I told Bear.tax everything is deposit and withdrawals and no airdrops, so that made a huge difference, huge impact. And so at the end I think I was more like close to the real numbers with the Cryptotrader.tax, and I mean that's what you actually want to show at the IRS. You don't want to be in trouble, so I took this solution. But not only for this reason, the biggest reason of course was the price, because again the Bear.tax was calculating much more of my transactions. They came to 2,500 transactions, which put me on $200, and the Cryptotrader.tax they counted I think only about 1,000 trades, which brought me only to $99, which made a huge difference for me, and so I took this solution. So you have to really check the amount of trades, but you can't compare it one-to-one because the Cryptotrader.tax has a different way of counting them. So you have yeah, a high chance that you end with a lower amount of trades with the crypto trader tax. By the way, a good thing to know for you is that almost all these solutions have usually at least a 10% coupon, even if they tell you at the chat. I mean, I've been asking the Bear.tax if they have a coupon, and they gave me a 10% coupon. With the crypto trader tax, I asked them if they have coupon like 10% or so. They told me, oh no, sorry, we don't have one. We will have one in spring again. I went on online site. So here's the site which you can usually find a code. I mean, you can Google for a code, or you can go to the site. I will put down the link to this website into the description. There's a good description as well about 5 of the best crypto tax solutions. 2 of them I have now been showing here in this video, and they are having a coupon here as well, which hopefully will work. Otherwise you just go and Google that. So based on my experience, it should be possible to find at least a 10% coupon for the crypto trading solution tax solutions. So the question is also, of course, at the end, will they be able to produce your documents? And yes, for Cryptotrader.tax, I can definitely confirm that it was possible, and I didn't need any assistance or additional support or whatsoever. So after paying, I just hit a button which said, yeah, create all my IRS documents, and there was a huge bunch of, I mean, at least 10 documents or so, many Excel sheets and PDFs. And so one Excel sheet had the input which I have been able to use for TurboTax. It says TurboTax online and the tax year, and that's the thing. It has just about I mean, it has the consolidation for each token. It does not show the single trades. It just shows the like a consolidation for every token. Let's say if you have traded 20 tokens, it will have 20 lines, and you can import that, just drag drop into TurboTax online, and it will work right after out of the box, no problem with that. So let's come to the final conclusion, where I have Bear.tax and Cryptotrader.tax. It was hard to decide because there's usually not a green and red, so it is sometimes it was a little bit difficult, but I always tried to find a winner. Of course, for the support, I would say, and when I consider I was using that on the even on the very last or second last day, both had really nice support. So I think it's a nice thing, and especially that you can use the support, I mean really extended support, before you even pay $1. That was really huge for both things. And price, I would definitely say, because Cryptotrader.tax counts your like your trades a little bit more conservative, than not so much excessive than Bear.tax. I think probably Bear.tax were also counting the previous year or something. I have no clue, but they came to almost 2.5 times the amount of trades from Cryptotrader.tax, and that made at the end the difference with the price. Accuracy, of course, Bear.tax, their problem, where you can only decide with all the problem cases if there are withdrawals, deposits, or airdrops. It's a little bit difficult here. Cryptotrader.tax, you can decide much better. You can try on an individual base. Here it's really difficult. Correct wrong imports, I actually forgot to mention that. That's a really important point. I mean, if you have already imported hundreds or thousands of trades, and you maybe do the 10th exchange and you import your Excel sheet and you find out there was something wrong and you need to delete this data again, it will be pretty easy for both of them. So you can see what you have imported, which data came from which exchange or from which Excel sheet, and then you can just go there and click and say delete this, and you can re-import this. You don't have to start from scratch. That was something I was really worried about that, and that works really good. You can dump really some of the imports and then do it again for same exchange. You can even do multiple imports. I think that worked on both sides really good. If you have, let's say, if you have a partner and you're doing a partner filing and you have both on both exchanges, you have one account each, you can without any problem you can sometimes import like up to 10 Excel sheets or so, no problem. Speed of process definitely an advantage with Cryptotradeattacks. With the Bear.tax, sometimes I got stuck for hours. I mean, always they were able to help me, but sometimes I really had to wait. More API support definitely on Cryptotradeattacks, but more CSV support on Bear.tax. Special transactions, yeah, again Cryptotradeattacks, where you can report scam and theft and whatsoever. I haven't found this on Bear.tax. Gain loss before buy, here a plus on the Bear.tax side. Difficult, you have to ask the support here. Overall winner for me it was Cryptotradeattacks, but I'm not saying Bear.tax is a bad solution, but it's just, I mean, it looks like the more sophisticated way. But I've been talking a lot to Bear.tax. They were really helpful, and they said they are trying to improve and add more API keys, and you can really work with them. And they even say if you have an Excel sheet which you cannot import, you can send it to the support and they will add it to your account, and so they're really helpful. So if the price is right, yeah, why not to go with Bear.tax as well? So for me, CryptoTrader the winner, but you have to decide on your own. I will put down the links to both sides into the description, and also the other side with the comparison and the coupon codes. So after I already did this video, I had a really long conversation with the support of Cryptotradeattacks, and the guy there was super helpful. Maybe it was the owner, the manager or whatsoever, and we had a discussion about the problems. I mean, when you have all your buys and sells, and at the end it gives you some errors and says you, for example, you have sold more than you had owned. And I was telling him, yeah, okay, probably that's because you don't have the import and exports, I mean deposits and withdrawals. And he said, no, it's actually possible. If you have all the buys and sells of all exchanges, they will try to do a match, and usually they come really close. And the problem is only if you don't have all your sells and buys, and that's actually true at the end, I had to admit. And the problem in my case was only that I had some buys in 2017 which I then transferred to other exchanges, and I sold it in 2018. So if you have some buys or sells, especially if you have sells on an exchange which you haven't bought, I mean, you have to also include the buys from the previous year or even from 2 previous years whatsoever. Just make sure you add everything, even if you think it's not important for the current tax year. So it could be really important to have a 100% match. And that's just my personal opinion. It's not a paid review, not sponsored. I'm not affiliated with them. It was just based on my experience, and I hope I was able to help you a little bit with that. If you have any questions or comments, just write to the comment section below, and I'm always happy to talk about these things. And if you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.